The difference is that they're distracted by cultural elements that keep their focus on things other than focusing on the money. They miss the money because if you're not thinking about the money, then you'll never have the money. If you're not looking for the money, then the money will typically not find you. Money doesn't travel to black neighborhoods very often as much as it should. It doesn't look for it. It doesn't say, hey, where's the hood at? I'm gonna go to the hood and make sure I sprinkle myself on top of the people that live there. It doesn't do that. So in order for you to have access to wealth, you have to have a consciousness that says, okay, the wealth isn't here, but I'm gonna go somewhere else to go get it. But then you gotta even know where to go. Right. So there's two levels to that, right? One, I got to decide I want to even leave my space, which right there that eliminates a lot of people. There are a lot of people who won't even leave their neighborhood, won't leave their community, won't leave where they were born, how they were raised, and that to some extent that's not a terrible thing, right? You should remain rooted and connected, but that lack of exposure keeps them from going in places where it might be easier to get money. And then the second tier of that is knowing where to go. And then there's the third tier of actually going, right? So there's literally three steps, three barriers. Psychological. This is all psychological. This is why we created the Black Financial Therapy Department, because most of the wealth gap is psychological, right? So they have to consciously decide they're going to leave. They have to know where to go, and then they actually have to do it, right? And those are and most people just don't have that level of discipline because studies show that 70% of all people follow the crowd, even if they know the crowd is wrong. So the reality, as much as we want to hope that one day magically everybody in the black community is going to figure it out and we're all going to elevate, there's a good chance that may not be the case for quite a while. Now, what could change that? Maybe one day, if I somehow become a billionaire and I can influence the entire community by writing massive checks and or whatever, then or someone like me, it may not even be me, maybe I'm somebody else, then maybe that might do it, right? Because people tend to they tend to be moved around by people that have capital. The capitalists have a lot of power. They get to shape people's lives. Like right now, you saw that in Capitol Hill, the billionaires are controlling the politicians who are affecting the lives of millions of people. So if they suddenly pop up and say, hey, your SNAP benefits are going to be delivered on this corner, then all those people will go to that corner. Or we'll give you more jobs in the government if you do this, this, and this. Well, then people will start doing the things that are necessary to get that job, right? Just like and so economics provides incentives. Sometimes it's used for control. Economic warfare is a very real thing. Economic warfare is regularly declared against the black community in particular. Most of us are heavily controlled by the money, especially when you are stuck in the mud of economic desperation. When you are economically desperate, then somebody that has money can come along like a magician and say, they say jump. You're like, how high? How high I gotta jump, boss? Right? So so a lot of times what you think is just merely racial oppression, it's not just racial oppression, it's really economic oppression, but economic oppression has a racial element to it. Why? Not necessarily always due to causation, but correlation. Correlation, what is that? Let me explain, don't get confused. Correlation means that two things tend to be connected, right? They don't cause each other to happen, but they're connected. So in America, you have a country where for 400 years, white folks took all the money. We know this. They stole from us. They used us. They all these things are true, right? And so now there's a huge disparity. So their money's here, your money's here. So this ends up allowing this group to have a tremendous amount of power over this group. So even so what happens is that the insidious racism that led to the disparity in the first place, it lingers. It lingers like a really nasty fart in the room, like after the person has left, right?